Hello, this is the Stories Beside channel. I release videos every day for you. Subscribe and click the bell. Noah Beggar was in the Special Forces. He was sent to all sorts of places and even to hot spots. His friends died before his eyes. In their place came other people, and they did their duty, realizing that this is their job. But, as they say, everything comes to an end, and Noah's service ended. It happened after one mission, where he was badly wounded. He already then realized that after such a wound, he belonged only in the civilian life. After leaving the hospital, Noah returned to his town. He went into a familiar yard, where he ran as a boy and breathed in the familiar air. Almost nothing had changed, only his mom was gone. She died 6 months ago when he was in the hospital. Her heart had failed, though she had called him often then and told him that she could no longer live without her beloved Vanishka, her husband, and Noah's father. His death, she never forgot. She was probably just living out of habit by now, and he could see that she didn't want to do that. He walked into the apartment, and his heart ached. Nothing had changed. Mother didn't want to change anything here, and he wouldn't. What was the point of the memories? All he had left in his pocket now. Clutching his cell phone, he took it out and smiled. "Hey bro, from what I understand, you should be in town by now. What are we meeting tonight?" "Hey Liam, how good to hear from you. Come on, I'm not feeling so good." "Oh, come on. Let's go to your parents' gravesite, and then we'll remember them at some restaurant. By the way, I have something serious to talk to you about. It's about your job." "Okay, it's not a phone call. So get cleaned up, and I'll be there in half an hour." Noah took a shower, changed his clothes, and waited for his childhood friend. Liam was the only one who called him lately. He was the only one who talked to him. He had no other close friends. "Well, great." Liam hugged Noah and patted him on the shoulder. "You don't know how glad I am that you're finally back. I haven't realized it yet, whether I'm glad or not. Just now I was walking around the apartment, and I felt so bad. I wanted to see my mother so badly. I thought I'd make it, and then I got shot. Thank you for burying her. I'm so grateful." "Don't say that. Your mother was my own. I did the best I could. Let's go. You'll relax a little, and then you'll get used to it. We'll talk about the job. You just want to do something." They sat in the restaurant, drinking and eating, and Noah could feel the tension letting go. Either he was relaxing a little, or it was the alcohol. "You're gonna join my department. You're gonna be an operative. I need guys like you in my department. I think you'll do a great job. Remember when we wanted to be police officers together? Only you went to war, and I'm gonna be investigating cases. Yeah, I'm in gangs. It's basically the same war, just a little different." "Exactly. So I think you're gonna be like a fish out of water." "All right, I'm in. Tell me, what do you think about when you're starting a family?" "I haven't found the one person I want to marry yet. You know, nowadays women need a lot of money, and we don't get much. And then you're always working day and night. And what woman would like that? So I'm in no hurry. I still want to get married once and for all." "Do you have anyone in mind?" "No one. There's no truth in the hospital. There was a nurse I liked, but she was married. I didn't get involved, although I think she didn't mind." They laughed and poured into empty glasses again. Noah returned home late at night. He did not let the word go, and they went to bed as in childhood. Who's going where? Liam used to stay at his house a lot. In the morning they had coffee, washed up, and went to work. "So you go to your boss first. Rick, is he expecting you? And then you come to my department. I'll show you around. It's a lot of work. We got a gang going on. They're stealing cars, changing everything so they can't get caught, and selling them. They're getting real good at it. They've got some kind of underground syndicate, and no leads. I'll let you read it when we get there. Maybe you'll notice something. My bosses are asking me, and we can't do anything. As soon as there's a clue, we go to the place we were told, and there's nothing there. Explain to me how they can turn things around so fast. Don't you think there's a mole in your department? Apparently, he's been bribed by the gangsters, so he's giving them all the information. Haven't you thought about that? Have you? Yeah, my operatives are the best, and they'll never do it. You're wrong. We were just talking yesterday about how you make very little money. And if someone has a beautiful girl, he's working hard for her. Believe me, right now he's not thinking about anything but her, and he thinks he's doing nothing wrong. You're gonna help me find this mole, if there is one in my department. After Noah had been to his superiors, Liam sat him down in his office and gave him some folders with photos. Look, here's who we're looking for. Here are the most dangerous, and here are the ones in the pipeline. Memorize them. Can you meet them on the street like this? How many cases like this have we had? They start to think they're unpunished and start showing up in restaurants and clubs. And our informants leak them to us. And another thing, I've been going through my staff files, and I've got some ideas. Let's see you later. Look, I'm gonna take care of some business. Then we'll go to the cafeteria for lunch and we'll talk. Noah studied the photos for an hour until finally Liam came into the office and said that he had enough for today. And now they're going to lunch. Listen, I've got two candidates. This is Sam and Jacob. Both young, both single. Jacob's been kind of mysterious lately. Guys make fun of him, joke about him. I never noticed. Do you think they could? You know, Liam, I think it could be anybody. Think about it. But why young? What if one of your cops has a sick mom or a wife? Maybe they need money urgently. You're not considering that. You have no idea. I mean these guys. You're saying it's hard for me. I can't even imagine the rest of them. Well, wait, maybe they're not from your department at all. Just pay attention right now. I know it's hard in your line of work. It's hard not to trust, but you're gonna have to take a risk here. You know, right now he's helping these thugs. And then what? Yeah, I get it. That's the thing. We have a constant battle with these werewolves. They just don't seem to be getting any smaller. I never thought they'd show up in my department. Think about it. How is that possible? I mean, all the guys I've worked with have been with me for years. I can't believe they'd do something like this. Come on, don't read it. Maybe really the people you're looking for have things so set up that they sometimes just feel like it's time for them to change their spots. Maybe there is no mole. Again, I'm telling you, we'll find out. After lunch, they went on another call. It's nothing serious, but Noah got to work with Jacob. He saw that the guy knows what he's doing. He didn't talk much, but he got it right. That's the kind of guy he liked. Now he understood Liam well enough to see how hard it was to have a traitor in a job like this. I've heard a little about you from Liam. They say you're an expert in the military. Why did you leave? Wounded, badly wounded. So I couldn't serve anymore. But I like it here. So I think we can work together. Do you have a family? No, not yet. I realize that it's time to get married, but I haven't found the one and only woman with whom I'd like to tie my life. Are you married? No, not yet. I'm still looking. I met a girl here though. I like her, but she's probably not right for me. She's used to a life of luxury, and I can't give it to her, so I guess I'm screwed. What about the saying? There's no such thing as a happily ever after. That's just a saying. It's really not that simple, but I'm not giving up hope. After all, I'm an operative, and I think I can do it. Noah didn't jump to conclusions yet. He saw that Jacob was absolutely calm, not nervous, although people are different and behave differently. What about the theft? Did you find out anything? As usual, no one saw or heard anything, not even the old ladies at the door. Thieves have learned to steal without being seen. They pick a special time, knowing people are at work, and the grandmothers are probably at the clinic or making lunch for their grandchildren. You're right. It's probably just another cold case, but she's the guy for tonight. What do you think? What do you think of him? It's too early to tell. The guy's smart. He knows his business. That's all I'm gonna tell you for now. All right, Noah. But I'm glad to have you by my side. You're the one I can trust. The next day, after a small meeting in Liam's office, Noah stayed behind because there was nothing for him to do. They sat in silence, thinking about their own things. I'm called to the prosecutor's office again today. I'm fed up with these thefts. It's a real nuisance. So I'm going to get my ass handed to me today. But I guess I'm getting used to it. Yeah, come on. I think it's gonna be okay. They know it's not that simple. They don't. They'd like to get this case solved as soon as possible. How are we supposed to do that? Nobody cares. All right, let me look at the case. Maybe there's something I can help you with. Okay. I'm just reading, but I gotta go. Can you stay in my office? Here's your key. But don't leave your office open. There wasn't a lot of information on the thefts. Noah was even a little disappointed, but he was interested in the fact that Mason's name was mentioned a lot. And if his memory served with this guy, he was familiar with him. Mason had served with him, then was also discharged due to injury. That was 5 years ago, and he could very well be wrong. Well, it was worth a visit to his battle buddy to check something out. He closed the office and drove to the address mentioned in the Mason file. Wasn't home, but he got his wife's phone number, introducing himself as a battle buddy and just wanting to see a coworker. The wife likely didn't suspect a thing and immediately gave the phone number. Coming out of the entrance, Noah immediately dialed the number. Hello, he heard a familiar voice, so he was not mistaken after all. It was him. But hello, Rock. How you doing? You're Beggar. Are you here for a visit or are you here for good? I haven't heard from you in a while. I have other more peaceful things to do. Well, let's meet and I'll tell you all about our affairs and listen to yours. How about it? I'd love to. Where and when? Let's do it now. I don't care where. I don't care. They arranged a meeting, and Noah went home to change. He didn't want to be in a restaurant in jeans and a t-shirt. He saw him right away. Mason hadn't changed much, but he put on a little weight. He was still in shape. But hey, Beggar, how many years? How many winters? 5 years. I see you're doing pretty well. What do you do? You know, Noah, let's just talk to you like good buddies. I don't want you interrogating me. I already guessed you're working with your old buddy Liam. I'm right. Where'd you get that information? Yeah, I got people everywhere, and in your department too. I didn't expect that from you, to be honest. Look, I'm not gonna interrogate you here, but I gotta be honest. I'd like to ask you a couple questions. I know it's useless to ask you what you do. I don't have to tell you. You know me. If I want to know, I'll find out. But I'd like to know more about the informants on the case. Are you serious? Not a friend. That's not gonna work. You owe me? I forgot. Remember that time I pulled you out of the fire wounded? You told me you owed me one. Well, I would never ask you for anything. But here's a situation where you're gonna repay me by Salieri's informant. Sorry, well, I already know there's a mole in the department. You haven't changed, have you? Still as serious as ever. All right, let's have a drink. We'll talk. By the way, how did you get my phone number? Don't worry. After we talk, I'll delete it. Your wife gave it to me when I told her I was your battle buddy. Okay, I believe you. I just can't stand cops. You know, it's my business. You're not them yet. You're new, so I still believe you. I heard your mom died. My condolences. Let's drink to your parents. They talked for a long time. Mason told, though not in detail, what had happened to him when he came home from the wound, then told how he had met his wife and how he lived now, again skirting the subject of his activities. Noah did not insist. He realized that Mason would never tell him anything. They were on opposite sides of the barricade now. Well, I'll tell you about your snitch. He's in your department. By the way, he's the one who didn't tell me you were there. I knew right away who he was talking about. And when you called me today, everything fell into place. Don't be mad at me, Beggar. Everyone survives. The best they can. We all have our friends. I had mine. and you had yours. I get it. So you're gonna give me a name." Mason was silent for a moment, as if weighing whether or not he should do it. Then he waved his hand and said the name. Noah sat in Liam's office and watched him pacing back and forth nervously. But who would have thought it? Noah. He and I had been working together for a long time. I was sure it was one of the younger ones. How did he even agree to this? As far as I know, he's got nobody sick. Everybody's alive and well. He fell for the money. Not exactly. He's got a very good story involving a little girl. But I think you know what I'm talking about. That's what they say. Gray hairs, black hairs. How's that? But that's how they got him. Then they offered him to work for them and threatened that if he didn't accept, they would find out about it here. In the family, of course. You can imagine how they cornered him. So he said yes. Thank you. I think we can take this gang down now. I wouldn't be so sure. Mason's gonna make sure we don't find him. I know him well. Besides, I understand you didn't have any charges against him at the time. Of course there were. They're all front men. Nobody knows anything. No loose ends. It's clever. It's impossible to get to the bottom of. Well, thank you again. Now I'm gonna go talk to this mole of ours. Look him in the eye. Noah was swamped with work. Sometimes he didn't even have enough time to sleep even an hour, but he was used to such a regime. So he managed without difficulty. Even his words always surprised him, seeing him so awake. So there's nothing planned for Sunday. You and I have been invited to a birthday party. Remember my sister Miranda? She was a real nuisance back then, and my parents left her to me to watch her, and she followed us around. Anyway, it's her birthday. And you and I are invited. Miranda, of course I remember her. Married with 2 kids. Not like you and me walking around still single. I'll be honest. Her friends will be. So brace yourself. She told me they have some new coworker at work, so she's coming over to set up a meet and greet. Maybe my little sister will marry us. Oh, come on, don't be a grump. How do you know? Maybe it really is our destiny with you. I, for one, want a family. I want kids. I get bored at home alone. Sometimes I just want to be a wolf. Imagine how you come home from work and there's a hot dinner waiting for you, with your family's eyes on the table and your kids by your side. You can't imagine how much I want kids. Yeah, Noah, I didn't realize you could be so romantic. It's settled then. We're going to my sister's for her birthday. Because, to be honest, I was wondering what I could think of to avoid going. Noah didn't understand why, but he wanted to relax a little, go to a party, meet a beautiful woman, dance with her. There was always one job. First the service, and now the police service. There was never enough time for everything else. Now such an opportunity had come up, and he decided not to turn it down. They arrived at Miranda's together. Liam's sister was unrecognizable, and from that skinny girl with 2 pigtails, a young, beautiful woman looked at him, in whom he hardly recognized his friend's sister. Noah, hi. I'm so glad you came along with your brother. To be honest, I was really afraid you wouldn't come. I've invited my brother so many times, and he always has some excuse, like he's got a ton of work to do or something. Well, why are you frozen at the threshold? Come into the room. Everything is ready, just waiting for you. The table was really full. They presented the gifts and sat down on the seats Miranda had shown them. Noah immediately saw a beautiful girl who was standing by the window. She looked at them with interest as Miranda began to introduce them all to each other. He remembered her name, Lisa. He himself didn't understand why or how he liked her so much. He'd had women, but at that moment he hadn't thought about family, relationships. Work didn't allow it. Now he wanted it for himself, to have a loving man around, to come home, and know that he would be waiting for him. Not a ringing silence, but a woman he loved who would meet him at the doorstep with a kiss. Noah also noticed that he was not the only one who liked Lisa. His friend Liam was looking at her with the same interest. But that's okay, they'll figure it out later. Let's see how she behaves first. The birthday party was a success. Noah hadn't had a vacation like this in a long time. Surrounded by ordinary people who knew nothing about the fighting, about blood, about casualties. Besides, he saw that Lisa favored him more than his friend, and he liked that very much. When the guests were leaving, Noah volunteered to escort Lisa out. She agreed. Liam took him aside and said, "I see you liked her. I'm very happy for you. I think you can manage on your own. I'll stay here tonight." It's been a long time since I've been to my sister's. They'd walked slowly along the sidewalk, and Lisa talked about her life, about graduating from high school, then going to college, studying. And now, finally, she had a normal job. She works in the architectural department, doing what she loves. Miranda and I met right away. She helped me to fit in. Although, to be honest, this is my third job. I quit my first job because the pay was so low. They used me as an errand girl, loaded me with work, and paid me pennies. I did not like it. I also quit my second job on my own. There my boss behaved inadequately, began to pester. And when I refused him, he began to insult me, saying that I am not a schoolgirl, but like a girl. But I left. But I was lucky to have a great job, and Miranda is my friend. How long have you known her? Since I was a kid. Her brother is a close friend of mine. We've been together since we were kids. When Miranda was very young, her parents often left her in the care of her older brother, so we had to take care of her. I remember now. It was silly, of course, but we were so angry. But we wanted to play war games, and there was a girl who was always in the way. Lisa, how are things in your personal life? Nothing. I had a boyfriend, then we broke up. Turns out he cheated on me with another woman a long time ago. She was smarter than I was. She called me herself and explained everything. And I didn't reprimand him. I just told him to go away. That's all. And you? Well, I mean, wife, kids. I've never been married. And I don't have any kids either. To be honest, I haven't had time to think about it. Hard work, which I liked very much. Then I was wounded. And now police work. Here we are, Lisa said, stopping at the entrance. Actually, I don't live far from Miranda. We get to work together. Noah realized that a girl like Lisa should not expect an invitation for a cup of coffee on the first day of their acquaintance. But he didn't want to insist, so as not to scare her with his eagerness. And he had to take her phone number because he wanted to see her again. "Lisa, give me your phone number if you don't mind. I'd like to take you out." Lisa smiled and dictated the number he had written down. They said good night to each other, and he went home. It was a long way home, and it was time to get a hitchhiker, but he decided to walk a little to get the alcoholic vapors out of his head and to think a little. He was thinking about Lisa, of course. They must be about 10 years apart, no more, but that's okay. He's still a man, and she's not a girl, probably wants a family and kids by now too. It's easier for a man in that sense. If he's ready, he can make a child at any age. But with women, it's the other way around. When the time comes, she can no longer give birth. Lisa liked it a lot, and he didn't like it the way he usually does, just to meet for once. But the rare 2 times, there was something more serious. He wanted to see her all the time, but it was too soon to think about that. We need to get to know each other, and then we'll see. The next day, Noah was in Liam's office at 8 o'clock sharp and watched his agony with compassion. As he realized, his friend had not stopped yesterday, but had probably been drinking more, and now it was pitiful to look at him. He was in great pain, and his complexion was closer to green than normal. "Why did you drink more last night? I knew it would be bad in the morning. Did you feel bad?" "No," nodded you. "I know your heart's in the right place. I was hoping Lisa would choose me over you. I'm upset." "Well, don't worry about it. I was just a little upset last night. Miranda really promised me yesterday that she would marry me. I believe it. Now let's talk about work. You've seen today's reports. Well, Go to the address and leave. Take one of the guys to help you. You come back and report to me later." Noah didn't like his friend's word to report, but he did not say anything, although he realized that he still holds a grudge against him for Lisa. But it would pass. I guess the wine vapors haven't left his head yet. That's why he's angry. He was working with Jacob again. He didn't know why, but he was comfortable with him. He answered his questions calmly. If he didn't understand something, and it was different where he was stationed, it's different here. So he asked him how to act in this or that case. He liked that, even explaining, he did it intelligently, without any skeptical remarks or surprise. Everything was right. And so it was easy and comfortable for the two of them to work together. True, he exaggerated a little about the ease and comfort. The work of a policeman, of course, does not consist in that. They arrived from their assignment in the evening. Jacob offered to have coffee, and Noah agreed. They sat in the office and talked about how they would act tomorrow. When the door opened and Liam came in. "I don't get it. Why are you sitting here?" "I'm waiting there with a report, and he's here singing coffee." "Come here." Noah silently put down his glass and got up from the table. Right now, he wanted to grab his friend by the chest and give him a good shake. But he knew how to keep himself in control and didn't do it in front of strangers. Liam immediately realized that he had said too much. He quickly left the office. Noah followed him. He raised his voice at me once more. "You'll see what happens. I'm not a puppy to be trained. I hope you understand me. I just got here 5 minutes ago. We thought we'd take a little break to coordinate a plan of action. Then I'd come to you and report back." Liam burst out noisily. Then sat back in his chair and looked at his friend calmly. "I'm sorry, it's just that the bosses gave me a slap on the wrist again. So I snapped. Well, it won't happen again. Let's just forget it. I'm kind of freaking out about it myself, to be honest. I'm sorry." "All right, let's forget it." Noah sat down opposite Liam and told him how they had spent the day and what they had done. He listened without interrupting, only nodding his head occasionally. Then, when Noah finally finished, he decided to make a correction. "Okay, I got it. Then check their alibis tomorrow and get the phone records. They sense something's wrong. It's probably either the wife or the mistress. I don't think his partner was set up like that. Besides, from what I understand, he and his wife are talking about divorce. Then she'd be left with nothing. It's a trivial story. It always is. We need a motive. Here's a lead. We'll take it from there, but we'll see." Noah wanted to say he didn't believe his wife was guilty because he saw how upset she was. No matter how good an actress she was, it was impossible. Or Noah was a bad judge of character at home. When he relaxed on the couch and remembered that he'd been trying to call Lisa all day, but he hadn't been able to. He'd been busy. Now, looking at the time, he thought it was probably too late, but he decided to call. "Hello? Lisa, hello. I'm sorry to call you so late. I just didn't have time to call earlier. Are you still awake?" "No, I'm glad you called me. I don't go to bed before 12 o'clock, so don't worry. How are you doing? How's work? You sound really tired." "A little. I wanted to invite you to a restaurant, but I'm afraid I'll be busy soon. Let's schedule it for this weekend. Is that okay with you?" "No, Noah. I don't mind." They talked for a while, and then they said good night and passed out. Noah, it felt so good that he couldn't understand his state of mind. Lisa's voice mesmerized him, and he was very happy when she agreed to meet him. He felt like a teenager when the girl he liked allowed him to kiss her. His heart had beaten the same way then. He smiled, then, remembering how the day had gone, frowned again. Now he knew for sure that his friend had liked Lisa too, and he couldn't get over it. That she had chosen Noah over him was something they had already had once in high school. They liked the same girl they wanted to date. The girl chose Noah, and Liam took offense. But then they talked and decided that if they wanted to stay friends, they should respect each other and be happy if a friend was happy. Apparently, Liam has been reeling again. But it will pass. He will calm down and everything will be as before. And so it was the next day. Liam behaved as usual, as if they had no conflict yesterday. And Noah understood his friend. He didn't hold a grudge. Couldn't it have flown by? At the end of the day, Noah decided to visit Liam, to tell him he was on his way home, and to ask if he needed a ride. He remembered that he had recently complained that his car had broken down and was in the shop. "Noah, let's go fishing. We'll pack up today and leave early tomorrow and have a good night's rest. I don't want to go home alone this weekend. My sister wants me to go to the cottage, but I don't want to go with them. I realize they have their own family. I don't belong there. I can't. I've got a meeting scheduled, so I can't not go. It's a work thing." Noah didn't want to upset Liam anymore. I remember he'd just recently gotten over the fact that Lisa didn't choose him. It's a work thing with the CI. Lying to a friend was unpleasant, but realizing he'd be totally upset when he found out he was going on a date, and you can't cancel. No, he only has time tomorrow. Then he's leaving. Then I guess I'll go to the cottage. I can't stay home alone. Why don't we go to my place? We'll have a drink. You okay? Yeah, I was planning to get some sleep. So I'll go home and I'll be happy to drive you. By the way, Liam, don't you think you've been drinking a lot lately? Yeah, it's just tiredness. Don't mind me. Let's at least go home. You're ditching me. My car won't be ready until next week, so I have to drive. How's that working out for you? The next day, Noah got up very late. The first thing he wanted to do was get some sleep. Then, when he finally got up and had some coffee, he decided to call Lisa to see if her plans had changed. She answered right away as if she had been expecting his call. His heart gave a little twinge when he thought she would cancel and say that she had some business to attend to and that they wouldn't be able to meet. He breathed a sigh of relief when he realized that he wasn't. She said it was all right and that it would be fine if he picked her up. It's just that, Noah, I'm afraid to go out in the evenings for some reason. Especially in a cab. You know what time it is. So I'd be glad if you picked me up yourself. After the conversation, he went about his usual household chores, although in fact, there was nothing to do. He was always in order. He'd gotten used to it over the years. Discipline was the first thing a soldier needed. Time stretched like rubber. And he waited for the evening. The restaurant was quiet. He had taken Lisa to the place where he and his friend had recently gone. He liked it very much and decided to invite her there. She was looking around with interest, and he only had eyes for her. She was wearing a beautiful black dress, and her hair was arranged in a beautiful style. She looked even more beautiful to him like that. "Lisa, where are your parents?" asked Noah to start the conversation. "They live in my village. When I went to college, I didn't see them much. Now I visit them. But to be honest, I have a strained relationship with them. They can't forgive me for trading the village for the city. Now they're nursing my brother's grandchildren, and they're happy. I call them sometimes to tell them I'm doing well. That's all. Where are your parents?" "My mom died over 6 months ago, and my dad died a long time ago. My mom told me right away that she couldn't stay in this world for long without her beloved husband, but she still tried to live for me. It's a terrible thing to lose a parent. But let's not talk about sad things. Tell me about your job. Do you like it? No, not about work. Let's talk about something else. Besides, I suggest we have a drink." And Lisa said yes. The evening was delightful. Lisa talked a little about her childhood, how she and her friends dreamed of meeting a prince, of course, on a white horse, and how happy they would be. It's true that I haven't been happy yet, although all my friends have been married for a long time. I'm the only one who's preoccupied with my career. I guess your time hasn't come yet, but neither has mine. I didn't really have time for that. It was work. And now, I'd like to have a family and children myself. Lisa blushed. Noah was very good with her and even flashed the thought of inviting her to my house, to continue the banquet, so to speak. But then he decided not to hurry. so as not to scare Lisa away. Although they are already adults, understand perfectly well that a man and a woman can want each other. Besides, if they could see that they liked each other, Noah could see that she liked him. Finally, they began to pack up. They paid their money. Noah put her in the car and drove her home. He didn't want to leave her, but he couldn't insist on continuing. Lisa must have decided to take the initiative herself, because when they reached her house, she offered to have tea with her. "It's just that I have very good Indian tea. Come on, I'll buy you some." Noah went. He didn't hesitate for a minute. He followed Lisa right away. They woke up together. Noah hugged Lisa and asked if she would treat him to some delicious Indian tea today, which they hadn't gotten to yesterday. She laughed and smacked the mule on his cheek. Noah felt like an electric shock, and they got things going again. They ended up spending the whole day in bed, only it was late in the evening. Noah started to get ready to go home. "I'm sorry, love, but I've got to go to work tomorrow, so I need to get some sleep. If I stay here, I know you and I won't be able to make it." Lisa laughed, agreeing with Noah. Besides, he wasn't the only one who had to go to work. Noah arrived at the department in a good mood. He'd had a great weekend. Besides, they had agreed to call each other in the evening. Now he was ready to move mountains. "I can see you had a great vacation. So how was the meeting with the informant?" At first, Noah didn't even know what Liam was talking about. But then he remembered and smiled cheerfully and said it was excellent. "And how was your time?" "Not so good. I thought I'd go to the country with my sister. Didn't work out. Their kid got sick. So they didn't go anywhere by themselves. I sat alone, wheezing, just a little bit. So, despite my judgmental attitude, I still thought you'd come to see me on Sunday. I was expecting you. But I guess you were busy on Sunday too. Tell me about it." "I met a girl." Noah nodded. "Actually, they're adults now. And they're friends. It wouldn't be nice to keep things from a friend. Yes, I've been seeing Lisa, and I know it's not pleasant for you. But I don't see the point in hiding it from you. I figured it out myself, so I shouldn't have lied about the informant. Okay, it's your own fault. I acted like an asshole. You know, when I got so angry, I wondered what they see in you, and she ignores me. I think I'm a success with women when you're not around. So get married already, and then it'll be my turn." Noah was glad his friend didn't hold a grudge. Besides, it was like a stone had been lifted from his soul. He never liked to lie. The week at Noah's place had flown by. Work during the day and meeting Lisa in the evening. He was falling in love with her more and more. He also saw that she liked him too, and that she was having a good time with him. So they met for a month. Noah saw that it was time to talk to Lisa. "Really? Lisa, come to my place. I understand you're renting an apartment. Let's just live together. Besides, maybe I'm in a hurry, but I'd like us to get married. You see, I'm not a boy anymore, and I don't have time to wait much longer. So I've decided to take the bull by the horns right away." I mean, I would have laughed, Lisa, and then I added, "I'm not a girl anymore. So I'll tell you right away, I agree. Then determine the time when you can get off work, and we'll go with you. We'll apply. There's nothing to delay. And now we'll go to your place and pack your things. I don't want to drag this out either. Don't look at me. I'll help you. The two of us will get things done a lot faster." We decided not to have a wedding, just a night out with friends. Liam was as happy as a boy for his friend, though Noah saw sadness in his eyes. "Don't be sad. We appreciate you. Do you hear me, Miranda? Noah, I'm begging you. Please help me. I finally got you settled in. But I can't get my brother back. This isn't gonna work. Guys, let's find a match for my brother at last. Otherwise he'll remain a bachelor for the rest of his life." The guests murmured, saying that it would be nice, and that soon Liam would be married too, and with a lot of children everyone was having fun. And soon Noah noticed that his friend was laughing more, and the sadness in his eyes was finally gone. After the party, the newlyweds went to Noah's house. Lisa had already gotten used to it, because she had been living there for almost 2 months. She immediately took off her high-heeled shoes and complained that they had been invented by a sadist, so that life would not seem like honey to any woman. Then she changed her clothes and went into the kitchen to make tea. Noah didn't mind it himself. A little of it to drink, because there was a noise in my throat, and they were tired today. You know, your friend was really sad tonight. Only at the end of the night he was having a little fun. I felt sorry for him, to be honest. Liam's a good guy. He just doesn't have much luck with the ladies. But I think he'll be fine. I heard his sister today telling everyone he should get married. And if she's saying that, he's definitely married. You'll see. Miranda's a fine girl and she loves her brother dearly. I think she'll find him a girl soon. Of course she will. I recognize her too. She's the most important person in the office. She's also my friend. So I know what you're talking about. We should invite him over more often. Besides, you probably have unmarried friends besides Miranda. I just figured his sister's a busy person. She's got a family, kids, and we don't have the same problems she does. Well, I'll see who I can set him up with. Things were a mess at work. The bosses came in for an inspection, and everyone was busy working. Noah and Jacob went out on a call. They got word from the neighbors that they heard gunshots and Liam sent them to find out what happened. Be careful. Make sure you do a thorough check. I can't go with you. You see for yourself what's going on. I'd love to get out of here. I can't stand it. I hate it when they arrive, and everything's upside down. Noah patted his friend sympathetically on the shoulder. By the way, we're expecting you this weekend. My wife has decided to organize a dinner, so come. But it began. As far as I understand, there will be someone else there besides the three of us. So let's not play tricks. I said come, so come. What can I do with you? You're stubborn. If you don't come, you'll come after me. Having arrived at the scene of the accident, they went to the specified address. It turned out that the husband came from a business trip and caught his wife with his lover. It turned out like in that anecdote. She was expecting him only in the evening, and he decided to surprise her. It's not clear which one of them was more successful, but he ended up just grabbing a shotgun and firing it into the air. Liam God, no one was hurt. The gun checked out. It was registered. The man had already regained consciousness and said he didn't mean to kill anyone. Just from what he saw, he decided to scare them both. They questioned the spouse and her lover, who sat pale in the corner, afraid to even look up. It's always like this that makes me want to get married. It's scary that I'll be at work like this, and my wife will bring home guys like this, who then, when asked, can't even say a single word. But this guy's a good man. He didn't aim at anybody. Had the sense not to go to jail for his wife. You're right. It's an unpleasant situation. But I'm telling you, don't think bad thoughts. You don't know what's going on in their family. Things can happen. But to be honest, I don't like this story myself. The only thing I know is that my wife is at work now, so I'm not worried about her. Well, how do you know? Maybe I don't. They're handing in the project today. They've been working on it for a month, and the presentation is today. So I'm pretty sure she's at work. Besides, we just got married. I don't think she's gotten tired of me that fast. They laughed some more at the unlucky lover as they drove back to the department. In the evening when Noah got home, Lisa was already preparing dinner. She was pleased that the project had gone well, and they were all going to get a bonus. How was your day? Anything interesting? Noah told a story about a shooting. Lisa listened attentively, then said, I've never understood women like that. How could they do such a thing? Is it not possible to be honest about everything, to tell her husband that her love is over, that she has met another person, and that she wants a divorce? Apparently, she thinks that this way she'll save the family, but also get pleasure on the side. But it doesn't work that way. Sooner or later, all this will come out. I think so too. Besides, you know how I told you I was seeing a man. Turns out he wasn't seeing me. I was alone. I remember how hurt I was when she called me, and told me all about it. And then, when the pain subsided, I realized that it wasn't my destiny to be with him. I can see it's true now. You're right. Life does surprise us sometimes. I guess it was time to call it a day. Her husband did. Let's just drop it because, it's a little uncomfortable. Hey, have you talked to Liam? He's coming over on Sunday. He will. I mean, he knew right away what we invited him for. And the light's coming too. That's what I told you about him. I think they'll like each other. Maybe they'll go out with each other like us. And then get married. She's a very cool girl, kind and sincere. Well, I hope she's pretty too, because you describe her like there's something wrong with her. You men are so hard to please. If she's pretty, it's bad, because she'll go out. And if she's not very pretty, that's bad too. You don't like it. How can you do that? What if she's just a good person? Or don't you want girls like that? But why are you so angry? I was just asking. Besides, to be honest, Liam and I have similar tastes. We've always liked the same kind of girls, except they always chose me. They never even looked at him. I see. Well, we'll see. Let's hope there's sympathy between them, and then we'll see. On Sunday, as soon as Noah saw Svetlana, he immediately realized that there would be no sympathy. It wasn't that Svetlana was ugly. It was just that there was nothing about her that Liam liked. She was very tall, thin, had a slightly long nose, exactly all the things his friend couldn't stand. He liked girls who were short, not too thin, and had a little nose. I think you're trying to scare my Liam. Believe me, if he doesn't run away as soon as he sees your entourage, it's a miracle. Well, what if he does like her? Okay, I just feel sorry for her. She's my age. She should get married too. But as you can see, it's just bad luck. I understand, but I can't help it. All right. It's too late to think. Let's get acquainted. And so it happened. Liam didn't even look at Sveta to save the evening. Lisa talked to Liam and Noah talked to Svetlana so she wouldn't be so lonely. Then Noah called a cab for Lisa's friend and went to take Liam home in his car. He hadn't had a drink today, so he could drive. I'm sorry about what happened. I just saw her and realized it wasn't gonna work out. Come on, there's nothing to be upset about. Honestly, I really enjoyed my time here. I had a great time tonight. But about Svetlana, you knew right away she wasn't my type. Well, I realized it right away too. To be honest, I didn't even want to talk to her. So thanks for helping me out. It's no big deal. Maybe next time it'll work out. When Noah got home, Lisa was doing the dishes. She was kind of brooding. And Noah thought it was because of her friend. Don't feel bad. It went so well, though. But it's not our fault we don't like girls like that, is it? You should have asked me first, what's Liam's taste? And I would have told you. Yeah, I'm fine. I just feel kind of tired. I've been feeling sick for 3 days now. My head hurts all the time. I feel sleepy. If this keeps up, I'll probably go to the hospital, see what's wrong. Or maybe you shouldn't wait. Why don't I take you there tomorrow morning? You think I'll see you tomorrow morning? I'll probably call Miranda now. Let her know I'm gonna be a little late tomorrow. She'll cover for me. I can count on her. In the morning, as agreed, Noah took Lisa to the hospital. By the way, he also said he'd be a little late for work. What happened? Yeah, Lisa went to the hospital at the detention center. She didn't feel well. So I figured, why risk it? It's better to go straight to the hospital. You're doing the right thing. Keep in touch. Call me if you need anything. He waited impatiently for his wife. He didn't want to think bad thoughts, but time passed and she was still gone. All sorts of thoughts came into his head, but Noah tried his best. He could to think only of good things. But then the dark thoughts began to grind at him again. They say that if everything was fine, then she would feel normal. So it must be something serious, so she must be sick. But finally she appeared in the doorway. He looked at her anxiously, trying to read something in her face, but then he was relieved to see her smiling. He said as she came up to him, "I've been worried sick. We're having a baby." At first he froze, not quite sure what she was talking about. Then he grabbed her in his arms from around him. "Oh my God, what a blessing. But you're fine, because the doctor told you it's a condition that happens in the first few months of pregnancy. I'm fine, so don't worry. Now take me to work. I'm already late enough as it is. It's gonna be embarrassing in front of Miranda. Maybe you shouldn't be embarrassed. Maybe you should take a sick day. Maybe you should just quit already. Noah, don't panic. I'm not sick, so you don't have to worry about me. I'm fine." Noah couldn't calm down. He kept looking at his wife as he drove her to work. Happiness overwhelmed him at last. Soon they would have a child. It didn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. He wanted a girl more, of course, and he didn't know why. I guess he'd always wanted a little sister, but his parents didn't want any more children. He remembered his mom was in poor health, but as it turned out, it wasn't just his mom. Daddy had gone before her. First thing he did when he got to work was go into Liam's office. "What happened with Lisa?" "It's okay. It's fine. We're having a baby." While Liam was digesting, Noah poured himself a glass of water and drank it down. "So you're having a baby soon." "Liam, I'm going to be a father soon. Friend, this needs to be celebrated immediately. Let's go out tonight. I promise we won't be gone long." Okay. But just for a little while. I don't want to worry Lisa, you know. She can't be here right now. I have to be there for her. Well, just let her know we won't be long. Yeah. Besides, I don't think she'll have time for you right now. You know, in her condition, she'd rather sleep than think. What are you doing home so late from work? You don't say. She's gotten so moody. It's hormones, I guess. But I'll warn her. They talked some more, and then they went about their work. Noah sat in his office because he'd been neglecting paperwork lately. Of course, he liked the work of an operative very much, but all this paperwork pissed him off. In the evening, Liam came to see him so that he could finally go somewhere, as they had agreed. "I've been watching here all day. You're sitting here today, telling me you've saved up some paper. I have, but I don't have much left. I'm gonna check out some more stuff. I told you the first day, don't put it off. It's better to do it all at once. You're not the only one, though. I've had all my operatives kicked out of here for not following their cases on time. What if there's an inspection or a commission? Don't you realize it's me who's gonna get caught first, not you? That's not nagging. It won't happen again. I'm not used to it, but that's okay. I realize today I'm not gonna do it again. All right, let's go, or you'll be standing over my head like this." They sat in a cozy cafe and remembered their childhood. "Do you remember when we were boys? My dad used to get very angry with me when I stayed overnight at your place. I remember he always told me that I didn't have a house of my own, that I was staying with friends. And at that moment, it seemed to me that they didn't need me, that they loved my little sister more than me. And your family was always so nice. Your mom made such good pies. I even wanted them to adopt me. I like your family because you're not alone, because you have a little sister. I remember telling my parents to find me a little brother or sister. I'll talk to Lisa. I don't think she'd mind having another baby later. You wait, don't rush into it. Let her bear it for a while. You know how hard it is for women these days, the environment. Does it affect them like that? The main thing is that everything is fine. And then, I think, you'll figure it out on your own. By the way, you called her and told her we'd be late. What about the first thing? I just realized she didn't care. She told me as soon as she got home from work, she'd go to bed. She was tired. Maybe you're working. Well, not to tire her out. Yes, I offered. But she doesn't want to. She likes working there so far. Plus, she and your Miranda are really good friends. I know my sister speaks well of her too. She says that at her birthday party, she brought her over to introduce her to me. Thought it was gonna work out between us. But you stole my girlfriend like you always do. I'm sorry, man, but she ain't no cow for me to steal her away like that. You saw it. You liked me too. Yeah, you did. I'm just kidding. All right, let's have another drink. And then we'll go home to bed. I'm tired. I have been lately. I'm thinking about taking a vacation and going somewhere. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. But who's gonna let me go? You see, there's a lot of unsolved cases. Stats are down. We got the end of the quarter coming up. So my boss is gonna have me on my ass in no time. You gotta dream sometimes. It makes me feel bad. Noah understood his friend. At such an age as theirs, he had long wanted some stability, and most importantly, a family, a favorite wife and children. He was lucky, but not off the bench yet. Lisa's pregnancy went more or less smoothly. She didn't have any splinters, like smelling paint or anything else. She didn't even want to eat fruit. Said she didn't want to eat sweets anymore. She ate tomatoes for vegetables. Noah was worried about her still working like that. He didn't like it. He was afraid she would get stressed out there and it would affect the baby. Don't worry, it's not long now and I'll be on maternity leave soon. I'll stay home and wait for you. I don't know what you can do all day at home. I do everything on the weekends in a couple hours, all my own stuff. And that's what you think you're doing now. And then, when your belly gets bigger, you won't be able to do everything so quickly. Noah understood Lisa. It's hard for a woman in that position. True, he had become alarmed by her attitude toward him. It was as if she was estranged from him. When he'd come home from work and try to kiss her, she'd shy away. Annoyed, and he never approached her again after that. This started to stress him out, and he decided to talk to a friend because there was no one else to talk to. I don't know what's going on with her. I even sleep on the couch now. I've become irritable. It's horrible. I've been home for a week now. When she went on maternity leave, she couldn't take it anymore. I don't even walk like this anymore. Oh, come on. She's just had a rough last few months. That's what's so annoying. You'll see, she'll have the baby and it'll all blow over. Yeah, I can't wait, because it's getting unbearable. I didn't realize it's not only women and men who have a hard time during such periods. Now I've experienced it myself. Word sympathetically looked at his friend, but did not say anything to distract him. He decided to talk about work. How's it going with that gang of raiders who bomb gas stations? Sneaky guys trying to stay off the security cameras. Apparently, they do a lot of due diligence before they go in. Although you can see they're all young, athletic, but smart. I've asked Jacob to scrutinize all the footage. I think that's how we'll find someone. You know, in our job, any little thing can help us. So you go and see, and you heal yourself. But you can help Jacob too. Can you imagine how much he has to review? I have to go away. They're calling me back into the office. So I'm gonna have to take care of all of you. Don't let me down, guys. Make sure you find a lead. Noah nodded and left. All day long he and Jacob stared at the screen, trying to figure something out. Nothing. Gas stations. 1 million cars of people. It's almost impossible to figure out which one is the culprit. Maybe we look at the ones who show up here more than once. But look, this guy was here yesterday, early morning, then shows up the next day and later in the evening. And what Jacob, he could be a cab driver. And the gas station is convenient for him. Maybe it's close to home. Maybe the price is a little cheaper. No, we need to look at this together, not separately. This person has to show up once, but at different gas stations. Only again, they're smart, and it's possible they're sending different people out each time, but at least one of them has to show up twice. And they did find him. A young guy who buys mineral water in the first case and buys cigarettes in the second. There was no doubt about it. It's the guy from the gang that's doing the raids. He's acting too strangely different from people who just come to get gas. He's looking around like he's looking for video surveillance. Of course, he was doing it discreetly, but they saw it and realized it was him. Make a quick printout. Show it to everyone and have them run it through the system. Maybe he's been in our neighborhood before. Add it. I think we found them. Noah rushed out of the office and ran into Liam, who was in high spirits. I see it didn't hit you as hard as you expected. However, smiling, he asked his friend. But that's about it. Listen, I think we found them. It's too early to tell, but I think we're on the trail. Noah came home, but he didn't approach Lisa, just greeted her and went to wash his hands. But his wife surprised him today. She came up to him and gave him a hug and gave Mill a peck on the cheek. I'm sorry, darling. It's just that lately I've been unbearable. You know, home alone all day. I guess I'm just nervous. What's different today? Oh, nothing much. I just talked to Miranda on the phone. She explained to me that these things happen and that the main thing is to be patient. So that's why I apologize to you. Come on, I understand. It's just sometimes it's weird to see you like this. I'm used to you and me being together. Now it's like you're pulling away from me. I'm gonna have to be patient a little longer. You see, once I have the baby, things will change. I'm looking forward to that too. Noah was at work when the phone rang. Lisa said she was having contractions and needed to be taken to the hospital. Noah didn't say anything to anyone because time was of the essence. He rushed to get his wife himself. He helped her into the car, put her bag in the trunk, and they rushed to the hospital. He saw how badly his wife was feeling. He tried to keep his eyes on the road and mentally begged himself to pull himself together. Everything would be all right. Now he would bring her to the hospital and everything would be fine. He returned to work when he was sure his wife had been placed in her room and a doctor was watching her. His hands were still shaking and he realized he couldn't work yet. He didn't want to think about anything else. All he could think about was his wife. So I didn't understand why you're so chilly. Peta told you, by the way. I see you're working together. Where have you been all this time? Then Liam, looking at his friend, asked Lisa right away. I took her to the maternity hospital. I can't think about anything else but making sure everything's okay. Let's go to my office. Why didn't you tell me? Are you serious? You think that's all I was thinking about? Okay, I'm sorry, but you know I'm worried about you too. Come on in. I'll make you some coffee. It'll calm you down. You know, you need to work on your head. You're distracted. If you worry so much, you're not helping anyone. You're right. Get your coffee. I'm gonna go. Where'd he go, by the way? I mean, he went on a burglary, said it wasn't his first time. There's been, like, 5 of them, but not in our neighborhood. The similarity is that in all 5 cases, people saw a truck and 3 guys. They look like jocks. All right. Go door to door, ask around. Maybe we can put together a sketch. Maybe we'll get lucky. Somebody remembered the license plate number. Although they're always fake in these cases, Noah, had a coffee and ran to the address Liam gave him. Work really helped. He forgot a little and didn't notice how the day flew by. Already when he was about to go to his wife's hospital to see how she was doing, he got a call that his wife was fine and had given birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl. They also told him to come back tomorrow because his wife was resting now anyway. Noah drove home and smiled. They have a daughter, a baby girl. They will have her as beautiful as Mom and let her character be better than Mom's. And then we'll see. Maybe they'll wait a little longer. And Lisa will give him another son. It would be great if they had a daughter and a son. When he got home, Noah called his friend, but his phone was busy. He waited half an hour, but the phone was still busy. He wondered who his friend could be talking to for so long and decided that he had a girlfriend. Though if he did, he'd probably tell them. He probably wouldn't be sure about her yet. That's why he didn't say anything. Liam called him back. Saw you called me a couple times. Something came up. But of course you can congratulate me. I had a daughter, but that's it. I'm coming to you. You can't be left alone like this, so we'll celebrate together. Liam arrived half an hour after the call in a package he'd brought with him. The glass rattled suspiciously, and Noah realized that their night would drag on tonight. In the morning, they woke up both with heavy heads. Noah went to the kitchen, cursing himself for drinking so much last night. At least he'd gotten some sleep, because if he knew himself, he'd be up all night thinking about Lisa and his daughter. He made coffee, poured 2 cups, and went to the bathroom to clean himself up. When he came out, he saw Liam, who was already finishing his coffee. I understood correctly that this cup was meant for me. That's right. Go wash up, and let's go to work. I'll have to call a cab. I'm not driving like this today. Yeah, you and I had a great time. It's so appropriate for such an occasion. Call Lisa, tell her we'll be there today, and ask her if she needs anything. A week later, Lisa was discharged, and Noah brought them home. For him, the week had gone by fast, because in addition to his work, he and Liam had set up the baby's room. He personally put little Kelly in her crib. He couldn't stop looking at the baby, seeing how pretty she was. Lisa, she looks just like you, I think. Just as pretty. How can you see what she looks like? She's just a little girl. And then the doctor said she might even change her eye color. Noah thought Lisa said it with a kind of irritation. He looked at his wife, but she turned away and left the room. Noah thought that she was probably just tired and that she needed some rest. He decided that he would go to bed next to the baby so that his wife would get some sleep at night. When did he suggest this to her? She didn't say anything to him, just turned and went into the bedroom. It got a little uncomfortable. It felt like she was angry with him. Angry about something. But why? He couldn't figure it out. He wanted to go ask her because he hated the whole understatement thing. But then he changed his mind and decided that he would talk to her tomorrow morning. He went into the kitchen and saw his wife sitting by the window drinking water. Noah did not ask to make him coffee. He decided to do everything himself. He glanced at his wife, who did not pay any attention to him. Lisa, why don't you tell me what's going on? Or do I have to guess again where I've gone wrong and what I've done wrong? Lisa flinched, turned her head, and then looked away again. It's okay. It's just that I'm probably not feeling well. That's right, I guess. Or do you really not want to say hello? You just tell me, and I'll help you any way I can. You want me to take some time off, take a vacation, and stay with you for a while. When she heard that, it was like she was scared. No, I'll be fine on my own. And most likely, after childbirth, depression will pass. Just don't worry about it. Her words calmed him down a little finally. At least she spoke to him. All right. Then, if anything, you call me immediately, and I'll come to you immediately. It was business as usual at work. Liam was out of sight again. They called the chief. The phone was silent too, and Noah even wanted to call. But then he restrained himself, knowing that if Lisa needed anything, she would dial it herself. And while she's like this, it's best not to bother her. But with each passing day, Lisa's depression grew worse and worse. Noah did what he did, what he suggested, and it all ended in a fight. Lisa screamed at him to leave her alone, that she was tired of sitting around all day, alone to look after the child and do household chores. When they calmed down a little and he suggested taking time off again, she would talk him out of it, saying it would only make things worse. To make things easier for his wife, Noah would rush home from work to be with little Kelly. After such scandals, Lisa's milk had disappeared, and now they were feeding her baby food. He learned to dilute it himself, so there was no problem. He changed her diapers, bought her before bedtime, and then rocked her in his arms and told her stories. Lisa would go to the bedroom, and he could hear her talking quietly to someone on the phone. One day he asked her who she was talking to all the time. She said Miranda because she needed advice and had no one else to turn to. Noah had no idea what else he had to do to stop his wife from being the way she'd been lately. For 6 months now, they've been cat and dog. He was so tired of it that he decided to invite a friend over to sit down and talk. He hadn't seen much of Liam lately. He just needed to talk. What happened again? Lisa's a mess. She came home from the hospital, and she's not herself. I don't know what to do. Maybe you can tell me what I should do. Should I send her on vacation with the baby? Let her rest somewhere. Or better yet, let her go by herself, and I'll stay with the baby. What do you think? Listen, talk to her, and I'll give you some time off. Let her go to the sea for a week. It's nice there now. I think it could work. Yeah, it'll work. Don't worry about it. She's been under a lot of pressure, I guess, all at once. So she's looking for someone to take it out on. She'll get some rest. She'll get her head together, and things will work out. When Noah got home, he called Lisa into the kitchen to tell her what he and Liam had just discussed. Lisa, why don't you go to the sea for a week and get a tan? I think you'll feel better. Lisa's eyes glistened with excitement. Are you serious now? I can go to the sea. What about your daughter? I'll take some time off to babysit. You can see I'm doing a great job with her, so you can rest easy in front of my eyes. Lisa switched. She was just flying around the apartment, didn't know what to take. She was looking for a suitcase, and she was so excited that Noah even admired her. He hadn't seen his wife like this in a long time. He was glad that she was finally happy again. 3 days later, he sent his wife to the sea and returned home to his little daughter. With her at that moment was a neighbor, whom he asked to babysit while he was away. You're not afraid to let your wife go to the sea alone, no? Why would I be afraid? It's just that Lisa really needs some rest. But the neighbor has already gone to the exit, and it is her. Noah did not like it very much. Excuse me, Cindy, what's wrong? I can see you wanted to tell me something, but for some reason you didn't dare. Cindy hesitated at the door, and he realized she knew something. Tell me, please. Don't worry, Cindy. It's a childhood friend of mine. I told him some things. He probably just came to my wife's house to talk to her, to comfort her, to support her. You can see I'm a little rough. Maybe I don't have the right words, but I know how to comfort. That's up to you, but I warned you. It just doesn't seem that way. She didn't finish. She just turned and walked away. Noah thought about what she said. No, it can't be like that. Not Liam. And Lisa was indifferent to him. She kept telling him she'd never look at him. It's just the neighbor's imagination. So she's just making things up. Women are like that. If a man comes to a married woman, there's something wrong. Then again, why didn't Liam say anything? Probably just didn't want to upset his friend. He saw that things were bad enough as it was, and he couldn't help. Once again, having thought about it, Noah came to the conclusion that it was nothing serious, and his closest people would never betray him. On the third day, Jacob arrived at Noah's house. Hi, Noah. When are you coming back to work? I can't do without you. Our bosses have gone missing. We can't get through. It's crazy. Who do you mean? Yeah, your friend hasn't been at work for 3 days. We've been calling him, and he won't pick up. He must have warned his boss, because he's walking around calm. And David is the boss, as always. When Liam's away, he's the only one who doesn't know anything. There were no orders. Maybe you know what's going on. Noah shook his head. Then he picked up his phone and started dialing Liam's number. Maybe it's not trying, but it's turned off on him. I don't understand how this is even possible. How is your wife resting, by the way? What does she say? I talked to her last night. She says everything is fine. She's swimming, sunbathing, eating fruit with some girls. I met her. They're going out on the town together. Even went to the movies recently. I'm happy for her. Let her have a vacation. But I'm worried about Liam. I don't understand. He's never done this before if he's not feeling well. He never turns his phone off. Do you happen to know if he's seeing someone? I had that thought the other day. I think he probably decided to take a vacation with her, so he disconnected his phone. But it's weird that he didn't tell me. We've always shared everything with him before. But this time, he just didn't say anything. Maybe he just met a married woman and doesn't want us to know about it. Noah remembered the conversation with his neighbor and felt uneasy. Something inside him tingled, which made him feel uncomfortable, but he thought again that his friend would never do that to him. What are you thinking about? You think I'm right? I don't know, to be honest. Maybe you are. Well, he'll show up soon enough. You'll see. Then we'll ask him where he's been for so long and why he's been missing. Noah was rocking Kelly in his arms because his little bee was still awake. She took in his arms, trying to play with his ear, touching his nose, and patting something affectionately to him. Sleep, Kelly, sleep, my girl. Mommy is coming tomorrow. You must miss her very much. If you don't sleep, she's gonna babysit you, and Daddy will go back to work and talk to his friend. Because you can't just disappear for a week without telling your friends. Kelly finally fell asleep, and he put her in her crib and went into the kitchen. Noah put the kettle on. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. He went to open it and saw Liam on the doorstep. He stood there happy, tanned, as if he'd been to the sea. Come in, missing soul. Where have you been? Let me ask you. You know, I got bored. I just packed up and went to the dacha. I went fishing with local men and drank moonshine in the evenings, but I had a good rest. You know, I was so tired lately that I decided to drop everything and leave. I also turned off my cell phone so no one would bother me. I didn't say anything to you. I figured you wouldn't have time for me right now. You've got a little baby on your hands. And then Noah realized that Liam was lying to him. He didn't believe a word he said. And he didn't like that either. He decided to pretend to believe every word he said, but he decided that he would personally follow both his wife and Liam. If those two dared to deceive him, they'd be sorry. They'll be very sorry because they can't do that. He understands. Things happen in life, and he told Lisa that they're not immune to feelings. And he asked her that if she fell in love with another man, she should tell him right away, not go behind his back. That's exactly the kind of thing he wouldn't forgive her for. Come into the kitchen and have tea with me. I've just put the kettle on. Listen, where's the fish? I remember that you always brought me your catch before. And now what? Spared it for an old friend. They ate it all. You won't believe me. Fish was the only thing we ate, you know. We had to have something to eat, so we ate it. I see. But the main thing is that you had a rest, because the guys from the department lost you. Even came to see me. We've been working on it. Even came to the conclusion that you have a woman. And not just any woman, but apparently a married woman. That you are hiding her so carefully from us by saying these words. Noah stared at Liam, but he didn't let on. But Noah noticed his friend's hands trembling. Couldn't it be? It couldn't be possible. But everything pointed to the fact that Noah was right. All right, Liam, you go get some rest. You have to work early tomorrow. I'm tired. Besides, I gotta pick up my wife from the airport. She's coming back tomorrow. So, you're going to work soon too? Yes, I am. We'll see each other more often now. I guess. Liam must have felt that Noah had changed towards him, but he didn't say anything. They didn't need words, because each of them realized that a wall had grown between them. Lisa walked towards Noah, smiling happily. He smiled too, though it was hard for him to do so. Yesterday, after Liam had left, he had sat down and thought it over, remembering what had been going on between them lately. He didn't like it all that much. It looked like they were cheating on him, but he didn't want to believe it. He decided that he wouldn't say anything until he was sure with his own eyes. Hello, Noah. How good to see you. How's Kelly? She's fine. We're going home now. You'll see for yourself. You don't look so happy, do you? Maybe I'm not happy my wife's finally home. Are you happy to be home? Or are you going to be depressed again after a few days? I know you're tired after all this time. That's not true. Needed a rest after giving birth to a young daughter. I'm all alone all the time. That's what made me feel bad. Noah didn't say anything. Inside him, everything was racing, but he ordered himself to calm down after he brought Lisa home. He went to work himself. He didn't feel like sitting at home with his wife. Although just a few days ago, he had been looking forward to her and thought that as soon as she arrived, they would have time to spend together. Now he didn't feel like doing anything anymore. These days, he just went deep into his work to distract himself a little and not to think about what was upsetting him so much. He was starting to get the hang of it, and it was starting to seem like he was just making it up. He was relieved, and Liam was doing everything he could to make them friends again, just like before. That day he came in from a call and went to Liam's office to tell them what had happened. Well, and to wait for instructions, because he and Jacob didn't know how to approach the case. His office was closed, and the desk clerk said he'd been gone for half an hour. Noah thought he would go home too and check his suspicions. If he didn't find Liam, then he was just making it up. He drove up to the house, looked around for his friend, and felt good. So he was making it up. He was starting to get jealous. It's all one thing on top of another. He just hugged his wife, apologized, and kissed his daughter. He walked into the apartment and got cold. Liam's sneakers were on the floor, though there was hope that they were just sitting in the kitchen drinking tea. But the house was quiet, so he quietly made his way into the room and headed for their bedroom. What he saw was a shock to him. Noah sat beside his daughter's crib, thinking about what he should do next. To his wife he would not give his daughter, no matter what she told him, no matter what she expressed to him. He would not give her his daughter, and that's it. After he saw his wife and his friend together in bed, his first thought was to kill. But then he pulled himself together and went into the nursery to his daughter, who was sitting in her crib playing with toys. He waited for the lovers to finally den and get ready to talk. There was silence in the apartment, and Noah even thought that they had just taken, and like the last cowards ran away. But then he heard a noise in the kitchen and realized that he had to go and talk. Lisa was putting the kettle on, and when Noah came in, she pretended not to notice him. "Stop playing hostess. Sit down. We need to talk. How do we proceed? I'm not gonna listen to you. I don't want you anyway. You're going to pack your things now and just get out of this house. I'm not gonna talk to you about anything anymore. And I don't want to. You know I hate traitors. Now think how much I hate you." Lisa turned pale, but then, apparently, pulled herself together and said, "Noah, well, where am I going with a small child at night? You're going alone. I'm not giving Kelly to you. Now what you've done to us is your fault. If you'd had the guts to come clean with me, I'd have given you your daughter. I'd understand, and I'd let you go, on the condition that I see Kelly. But what you've done makes me want to kick you out of the house. And besides, I don't want you seeing your daughter, but any court will give me my daughter. A child always stays with its mother. Not in your case. If you don't listen to me, I'll destroy you. Don't forget where I used to work. I can do a lot of things. I'll make sure no one even knows it's me. So if you want to live, you'd better go alone to your lover and live on your own. Are you going to give him another baby? I think you've probably talked to him about it, but leave me alone. And tell your lover that if he starts helping you take my daughter away from me, he'll suffer the same fate as you." Lisa tried to object, but Noah raised his eyes to her and she fell silent. "I don't get it. Why are you still here? I told you to get out of this house. You're not staying here another minute. You got it." Lisa snapped out of her seat, and he heard her open the closet and begin to quickly put things in her suitcase. Noah got up, went to the baby's room, closed the door behind him, and sat down beside his daughter's crib. His soul was aching in his heart too. Just yesterday he had both a wife and a friend, and now he had no one. Everyone had betrayed him, both stabbed in the back. Well, he'll get out of it. He's seen worse in his life, and he'll raise a daughter who'll love her father, and he'll be proud of her. Kelly came in from school, tossed her backpack, and disappeared into the bathroom. Noah sighed. Apparently there was trouble at school again. He then immediately realized that he would not give his bullet to a regular school, but to a grammar school. True, it cost him money, but he didn't worry about his pension, which was immediately credited to him. When he resigned after the wounding, it was not bad, and they had enough to live on. They still had some savings. But then, of course, he had to look for work. He left the police as soon as he divorced his wife. He realized he couldn't work anymore. Eventually, he got a job at the same gymnasium, and the janitors were paid quite well there. And there wasn't much work. True, his daughter was dissatisfied, saying that her classmates would tease her that her father worked as a simple janitor. But he then answered her that there was nothing wrong with it. It would be worse if her father was lying drunk outside this very gymnasium. If she used to tell their father when she was in trouble at school, she stopped now. It was Lisa who was to blame after all, for meeting with her daughter and telling her story. He roughly understood what she had told her, but Kelly didn't say anything, and he didn't bother to ask. He'd seen the ex-wife himself recently. She had tried to talk to him. He left the house to go to work. She came up to him, probably waiting for him. "Hey, Noah, can I talk to you for a second?" Noah didn't want to talk to her. What was I talking about? About the past. So she destroyed everything, even the good memories. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you back then. It just happened. I was afraid to tell you, I guess. Lisa, why are you telling me this now? I don't care what you wanted or didn't want. You live your life, so live it. You and I had an agreement. I have no more claims against you. Let's close the subject. I broke up with Liam. Noah was silent. He didn't need that information. The only thing he couldn't understand was why she was telling him. Cancel it, and whatever you want, so we can live together again. I remember you loved me very much. Is it really over? And our daughter, she needs her mom. I checked. You don't have anyone else. You never remarried. Let's try to start over. Lisa, are you crazy for me to accept you after what you did? You certainly have no conscience at all. I was wrong about you. I still can't forgive myself. So go on living on your own. Or better yet, find someone else. Don't touch me and my daughter. You're dead to us. He left then. But he also thought that she would probably meet her daughter. And so she did. He and his daughter had a difficult conversation after their meeting, after which the relationship has deteriorated. Daddy, why did you lie to me? You said Mom left us. Turns out it was you who kicked her out of the house. Didn't Mom tell you why I did that? She said you were overly jealous of her and jealous of your friend. And then you kicked her out. How could you deceive me like that? I believed you. I thought only my father could tell the truth, but you. And you've been lying to me all these years. And now you've taken a job as a janitor. You're embarrassing me in front of the kids. They tease me all the time. And now my mom told me this. I hate you, and don't you dare come near me. It was really hard to hear that. My first impulse was to bring Lisa into the house and make her tell her daughter the truth. But then, after some thought, he decided not to say anything. Why should he? It's his grief. He'll never forget it. When in one moment he lost both his wife and a close friend. In fact, he was not the first, not the last. It was a shame that in the end, he was the only one to blame. From that day on, his daughter stopped talking to him. He didn't know what was going on at her school. She never told him anything. Besides, her graduation ball was approaching, and he realized that his daughter needed an outfit and tried to talk to her about it. Daughter, let's buy you a beautiful dress. I've been saving money for such an occasion, so that you would be the most beautiful in school. I don't want anything from you. I don't care what anyone says about me. I'll wear it to my old dress, though. I don't care what I wear if my whole life is messed up because of you. People at school make fun of me and make fun of me. And you're here with your dress. You kicked Mom out. Thanks, Dad. I don't want anything from you. When I turn 18, I'll leave you right away. I'll live on my own, just so I don't have to see you anymore. She ran to her room, and he could hear her crying. It made his heart bleed. Only he didn't know what he could do to help her. Of course, if he had a mother, she'd tell him. She would have guided him, but she wasn't there. That made it all the more painful. He was even beginning to think that he'd probably done the wrong thing then, that he hadn't allowed Kelly to be taken away. But he felt so bad that he was already alone, and now he wouldn't have his daughter. He may be selfish, but he was only thinking of himself at that moment. Lisa didn't really insist on having his daughter back in his mind. Any other mother would have crawled on her knees for her child, begged, tried to do something. Not her. After all, she hadn't even asked him to let him see her. It never happened. So what do we do now? How to calm her down? If she now, like a hedgehog, released her prickles and does not let anyone near her. She's just like him, isn't she? That's exactly how he defended himself back then. Except she's small. Kelly saved him. Otherwise, he would have done something stupid. She saved him, and he can't help her. He remembered how the day after he'd found out, he'd gone to the police station to write a letter of resignation. He met Liam in the corridor. The one, when he saw him, ran to his office and locked himself in there. How nasty was that? He couldn't believe his friend was such a coward. He probably always had been. Only Noah didn't notice it, or just didn't want to notice it. He wanted to tear it all down then, but he didn't. He just quit and walked away. And then, just like his daughter now, he cried for her little crib. Only he's an adult, and his daughter is still a child. She doesn't understand a lot of things, and that's why it seems to her that everyone is an enemy. Graduation finally came. Kelly looked at herself in the mirror and decided that she would wear her old dress. She only had one, though. Her father had bought it for her once, and she told him not to do it again. A gaudy dress that she never actually wore. She herself preferred to wear more jeans and shorts. It was much more comfortable that way. Most likely from being raised by her father. Had her mom been there, things would most likely have been different. Remembering her mom made Kelly sad again. She texted her that there would be a graduation, but her mother said she wasn't coming. She had something to do. It made the table even sadder. She didn't understand her mom. She always said she loved her, that she always wanted to be there for her. But the weird thing is, after that conversation, they never saw each other again. Sometimes Kelly texted or called her, but the conversations were always brief, and her mother never responded to texts. And then there was her relationship with her father. She has said so many mean things to him, but she thinks he deserves it. He'd been walking around like he was in the water the last few days, but she didn't feel sorry for him. Since he'd done such a bad thing to her mom, let him suffer now. As she walked out of the driveway, she ran into her neighbor and Aunt Cindy. "What? It's graduation today. What do you want from your dad? Didn't he buy you a nice dress? I don't want anything from him. Why are we fighting like this? What happened? Tell me." "He kicked my mom out of the house. He always told me she left us. My mom told me everything. What in God's name could she tell you? Listen to me. It all happened almost right in front of my eyes. You're a grown-up girl. If you can take offense at your father like that, then really listen to me. Your mother, while your father was at work, she invited another man home. Noah's best friend, Noah. They went on vacation together. I remembered Noah was so worried about your mother that she was weak after childbirth. She needed to improve her health, so he sent her to the sea. And she and her lover went there. They had fun there while your father was with you. I helped him sometimes. And the day it all happened, he caught them himself. I saw your father's friend jump out of the apartment like a scalded man on the run to get dressed. There you go, my dear, and your mother is a shameless one. Apparently, her boyfriend dumped her, so she decided to come to you again. Only I know Noah will never forgive betrayal." Kelly got cold feet. So that's what really happened. And Dad didn't say anything to her. He didn't berate Mom, didn't tell her how bad she was. He just didn't say anything. She was so ashamed of her behavior that she decided to find him at school and apologize. But she was unable to do so. Immediately, the class teacher came up to her and asked her as the head of the class to help her organize her classmates. Kelly realized that she would not be turned away and decided that as soon as it was over, she would immediately find her dad. Her classmates openly mocked her today, making fun of her dresses, telling her what she looked like and who she looked like. She regretted 100 times that she hadn't listened to her father and come to school in a proper outfit. But it was too late to change anything. She decided to be patient, knowing that it would all be over soon. When the ceremony was over and they were handed their diplomas, Kelly rushed towards the exit to find her father. She ran down the alley, looking around. Suddenly, the boys and a few girls from her class caught up with her. "Where's this poor girl going to pay? Did you decide to change it or what?" "Don't bother, we'll change it for you. But we decided to make it brighter. You're as gray as a mouse in it." Kelly didn't even have time to answer anything as a can of paint was poured over her, the bright red liquid spreading over her dress, her arms and hair. And she looked at the guys and couldn't say anything. It was so upsetting, and for some reason she felt sorry for the dress. Her father had bought it for her. He had tried so hard to choose. He wanted to please his daughter, and they were about to leave. Suddenly there was a call. Kelly recognized her father's voice. "Your advocate. His Majesty the janitor is here." "Shut your mouth, boy. You're talking to an officer, by the way. So one more word, son. I got you. And I can't hear you." Son nodded, looking with all his eyes at the janitor, who at the moment was not a janitor at all, but an officer who had glimpses of the will of an award on his chest. "You know what I tell you? When you get out of here, you're going to meet real life. Believe me, it's going to be very bad for you there, because people like you and your kind are not liked. And I'll add this, I know that there are more good guys out there and that they can't stand guys like you. I used to be like that myself, so I know what I'm talking about." The boys scattered, and the father came to his daughter and tried to hug her. "I'm sorry, daughter. I just wanted to get here early. It's your graduation. But it just got a little out of hand. And here we are. I'll think of something. Let's go home. I'll help you quickly. Dad, please forgive me for everything. I'm sorry. You didn't talk to me much at all. I hardly know anything about you. Let's not be silent anymore. Let's always tell each other the whole truth." Noah nodded and pulled his daughter close to him, completely oblivious to the fact that he too was now covered in paint. "Daddy, they ruined your dress. To be honest, that's the only thing I felt bad about. It's okay. Let's go shopping with you tomorrow. I'll buy you anything you want." "I want to, Daddy. And now you and I will go home, and you and I will sit in the kitchen and pour ourselves some tea and talk. I'll tell you everything, and you tell me everything." Noah nodded, hugged his daughter, and they walked to the car.